People, I have returned in a fabulous fashion. Oh my god. That Zero speech. Oh my god. Zero just exposing everybody. You just fucking dude. Fucking Zero, man. He just comes in and he's broadcasting to the entire world. He's like, I have returned. Oh my god. Dude, that shit, man, I'm gonna tell you, the inner fangasm when I saw that scene, I was like, oh. Like, when I saw that speech and I saw Zero, like, the people have returned, you just see the freaking long-ass speech, you see everybody freaking out, you see Nina freaking out, poor Tableton, by the way, and then you see everybody just getting pissed off, like, Zero has returned, and I'm like, oh, shit, dude, and they're even calling him, like, the 11's king, and I'm like, yo. So, here's the thing. Episode 2, Code Geass R2. Oh, damn. I'm gonna be honest here, real quick, pushing aside my fanboy fangasm from that speech, I'm gonna be real here. This episode really was structured similar to Episode 2 of Code Geass, Season 1. For instance, the main concept, like the main breakdown of this episode in simple terms, is that pretty much you have it to where Lelouch, he gets a mech, he uses his Geass to get a mech from someone, which happened in Episode 2 of Season 1, and then he goes on to try to overthrow the enemy forces, for instance, using tactics, strategies, like a chess piece, pretty much, and at the exact same token, he pretty much takes down the enemy leader in the exact same episode. Pretty much the exact same structure as Episode 2 of Season 1. Now, that doesn't necessarily make this bad, because that ending speech alone... Dude, that fucking ending speech, man, whoa! But the episode, man, it was just, it was similar. It was very similar to Episode 2, besides some plot reveals finally clearing up the questions I had after Season 1. For instance, we find out how technically Lelouch survived, and Suzaku technically survived, and we also find out what really happened to Lelouch's memories. Now, with this, I was actually kind of shocked to find out that it was actually the Britannian king, Lelouch's father, that was the one that used Geass. I knew it had to be something to do with Geass to remove his memories, because I was thinking about it after Episode 1, and I was like, the only thing I could say that could possibly explain this is if, you know, he either went into a coma, had amnesia or something, or someone used Geass on him, and that seemed like the most logical fashion for, you know, Lelouch to forget things. And with this episode... pretty much we find out about this, like, little brother. Like, the little brother Rolo, I think that's how you say his name. We find out he actually, supposedly has a different angle. Like, I'm guessing he was sent there to watch over Lelouch, because he was actually specifically hunting down Lelouch in this episode, or Zero. And actually is another thing that felt very similar to the Season 1 of Code Geass, Episode 2. Because, I mean, let's look at this. Besides the mech thing, which I already explained, taking down the enemy leader and using tactics and stuff like that, also, the only reason why technically Lelouch's tactics started to fail was because of this other, you know, irregular event coming in. For instance, a person with an extreme mech beating the shit out of Lelouch's soldiers, and then Lelouch has to fight this person. That's exactly what happened in Episode 2 of Season 1. For instance, you know, Suzaku comes in with his Lancelot and starts fighting Lelouch. So, like I said, very similar. Very, very similar. I don't know necessarily if it was because Sunrise, the studio that actually made this, they made both seasons, I wonder if they actually did this episode in a similar structure because they were just wanting to reference Season 1, or was it because they just slightly wanted to be lazy? Now, it's not bad. It's not bad, because like I said, oh, dude, that fucking ending, ooh. But it feels very weird how they're very, very similar. Like, I mean, the actual similarities between the two episodes are just, it's crazy. Like, you can really see it if you watch those episodes one after another. Like, if you see it, you're like, oh, shit. Now, moving past that, pushing that aside, okay? Nina, did you see Nina's face, man? Dude, Nina, she looks so pissed. She looks so fucking pissed, dude. Nina looked like she wanted to rip Lelouch's head off, or Zero's head off, like her face, man. It seemed like she was in the science department or something. From what I can understand, it looked like she was a professor or something, because she had a lab coat technically on that, you know, Code Geass has demonstrated, and so I'm guessing she might be working for the Count, technically. So, interesting to find that stuff out. Now, moving past that, we also find out that Cornelia is technically still alive. Now, I had my theories about that. I haven't really discussed, but we technically never really saw Cornelia officially die. But from what I understood in this episode, Cornelia is still alive, so... Oh, damn. That rematch of Cornelia versus Lelouch. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. And also, in the ending speech of this episode, you have it where he's like, I will start the United States of Japan. Dude. Oh, he's already starting his fucking conquest. Like, he's already taken, like, a freaking building. He's like, this building is our country. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this building is his country. I'm like, what? So, I have to say, episode, Code Geass, man. Just the revelations of finding out that, you know, Lelouch's father is a Geass user, and he used memory manipulation on Lelouch. Now, here's the thing, actually, I want to discuss. There's a lot of things I'm wondering with this episode that makes me bring up a lot of questions. For one thing, why did Lelouch's father, the King of Britannia, not kill him? Because, let's look at this logically. If you were a king and your son wanted to cause rebellion and kill everybody, even, you know, killed one of your fellow sons, and daughters, technically, and started the entire rebellion, you'd think you would want to kill him. Now, I don't necessarily think that technically the father's a very loving father. I mean, let's be real here, okay? I understand a normal father-son relationship, a father wouldn't kill a son, but this is the King of Britannia that's been a dick. Let's just be honest, he's a fucking dick. And he puts people against each other. Like, he pits them against each other. He even pits his own sons and daughters against each other. So, I don't really think this is the type of man that would spare Lelouch for no reason at all. And if he does spare him for no reason at all, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, what? So, here's the thing. Lelouch survived. His father forced him to have false memories and go back to school and act like he's probably not even royalty or Lelouch anymore, like the actual Britannian Lelouch. And so I'm questioning, like, why would he do that? Like, why would Lelouch's father actually do something like that? A lot of questions are wrapped around that. And then on top of that, we have to wonder, like, okay, so if only technically Suzaku and the king knows about Zero or Lelouch's identity and his power of Geass, that still doesn't explain how Lelouch's Geass was suppressed. Like, why was Lelouch's Geass power completely suppressed? That's the question I'm wondering. I mean, I understand he altered his memories and stuff and suppressed his memory. Okay, I'm fine with that. That's understandable. But how was Lelouch's Geass suppressed? Because from what we know from the last season, Lelouch couldn't deactivate his Geass anymore. It was completely always on. He couldn't turn it off. So, how was it turned off, technically? Unless the Britannian king, he actually controls all Geass, like maybe he can manipulate other Geass. I mean, hey, we don't really know the limits of Geass powers. I mean, we've had a memory reader, memory alter type person, and someone that controls someone, so actually, it's really strange. All the abilities we've seen of Geass has been something to do with, like, someone's brain, like their memories, or how, like, what they think and stuff like that. That's really interesting if you think about it. All the Geass powers we have seen is something to do with the mind. Like, for instance, Lelouch, you know, alters their personality for their mind. So, Anyways, moving past that, the thing is, I wonder exactly how his Geass was deactivated. On top of that, what or who is Rolo? Like, I mean, why is he pretending to be Lelouch's brother? Because I could look at it and say, okay, the king altered his memories, he might have had a brother. I can understand that. But from what the king said in the episode, I watched Japanese subs, by the way. From what he said was that he and only Suzaku know of Lelouch's real identity. So why would, you know, Rolo instantly want to attack Lelouch or Zero in that building? A lot of questions. And then on top of that, too, the entire way, like, Suzaku became one of those, like, knights underneath the Emperor, I'm thinking, like, what? Like, there's a lot of prejudice in Britannia. We know for a fact that was demonstrated in the first season, but why is Suzaku in these knights when I know for a fact these knights probably are prejudiced as fuck? I'm willing to bet they are very, very prejudiced because they're the knights of the freaking Emperor. So, I'm thinking, like, Suzaku, you're probably getting a lot of hell from being with these people. So I think that's pretty much all I need to discuss. Pretty much that's everything really, really important. I mean, it's set up for the Revolution or Revolution 2. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen next because it was fucking epic. Oh my god. So tell me your thoughts. Love you. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.